Some movies are so iconic that it's hard to imagine what cinema would be like if they never existed. The legacies left in their wake can be seen across genres and form the basis of more stories than we realize.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yep, that's a good one.
It is thanks to the persistence and hard work of these pioneering crews that some of our favorite movies were ever finished. These are 10 famous movies that almost didn't get made for shocking reasons. Star Wars. When George Lucas set out to tell the story of a galaxy far, far away, it seems the whole universe united against him. The director had an impossible time finding a studio to fund 1977's Star Wars.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
When he did, they didn't exactly give him enough money. The actors weren't into it either, and thought the movie was going to be for kids. Plus, huge storms on set in Tunisia not only wrecked a ton of the equipment, it also delayed production. Somehow though, Lucas got it done. It's one of the most beloved franchises of all time, and he's got the legion of fans to prove it. Jaws. Known as one of the most frightening movies of all time, Steven Spielberg's Jaws has been terrifying audiences since it was released in 1975. The story of a man-eating great white shark stalking the beaches of Amity Island is a hard one to forget, especially when swimming alone. But for the crew members, the production is memorable for its off-screen shares. The 3 animatronic sharks built for the shoot often sank, had to be repainted daily, and had to be rebuilt every week because of the saltwater. Plus, thanks to a stipulation in the contract, Martha's Vineyard agreed to let the crew film there, but the set decorators had to put up and tear down the props every day.
Son of a...
Mad Max Fury Road. What started out as a drawing snowballed into a 2-hour, high-octane offering from director George Miller. Sidelined due to flooding, skyrocketing insurance rates, and shipping delays in the post-9/11 climate, Mad Max Fury Road was 10 years in the making. Never one to sit idle for too long, Miller used his time to consult with experts and develop his vision. The delays in production turned out to be kind of a blessing. The film's every element is accounted for and designed to a T. Plus, the stunt team had the opportunity to practice their moves so much that they were able to execute them without CGI. Blade Runner. Some of the most amazing worlds presented on screen were first conceived in books, and any director who takes on the challenge of merging their vision with the existing work of an author has their work cut out for them. 1982's Blade Runner was based on the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, and when he saw what the studio wanted to do with it, he was unimpressed. Apparently, he wasn't the only one. The film's director, Ridley Scott, needed some convincing too, and had already refused the job once. It even had its budget pulled, but somehow the movie managed to get made. Apocalypse Now. According to Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And if you ever doubted that sentiment, just take a look at the filming of 1979's Apocalypse Now.
Don't look at the camera, just go by like you're fighting! Like you're fighting! Don't look at the camera!
Marlon Brando, a principal cast member, returned from a hiatus in filming looking unrecognizable and not knowing any of his lines. Martin Sheen suffered a heart attack, and everyone on the crew was constantly getting sick. Even if you remove the physical ailments, the production was still subject to the very real risks of shooting in nature. The sets were annihilated by a typhoon. The native wildlife posed a constant threat, and the filming went way over schedule. The Wizard of Oz. In every conversation about Hollywood classics, film buffs always pay homage to 1939's The Wizard of Oz, with some even speculating that it's the most watched movie in history. Good thing too, since the cast went through hell to get it made. The adorable little Toto was hard to keep on cue and had to be replaced after an injury. 2 of the actors even had to be hospitalized because of their costumes. The original actor that signed on to play the Tin Man almost died when the aluminum dust in his makeup coated his lungs and caused an allergic reaction. And Margaret Hamilton, aka the Wicked Witch of the West, was burned by the copper in her face paint after getting trapped on a fiery set piece.
Oh, are you all right?
World War Z. Lately, there's been a lot of talk about studios meddling with movies after shooting has already wrapped, with Fantastic Four and Suicide Squad leading the conversation. But a few years earlier, a different property was at the forefront, World War Z. Although it's technically an adaptation of the Max Brooks novel, the similarities begin and end with its title. After shooting had already wrapped, the studio ordered reshoots and changed the ending. They even brought in different writers to do it. Just when it seemed that things couldn't get worse, Brad Pitt would no longer acknowledge director Mark Forster in person and spoke through a proxy. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park has been roaring into our living rooms since its release in 1993. It has a great story, pioneering special effects that still meet today's standard, and a handful of heart-stopping moments. But during filming, director Steven Spielberg had a few heart-stopping moments of his own. The robotic T-Rex weighed over 12,000 pounds. And if Spielberg learned anything from Jaws, it should have been that animatronics and water do not go well together. After a few days in the rain, the damage began to manifest in a terrifying way, by coming alive and roaring uncontrollably. Titanic. James Cameron is responsible for some of the most epic movies of all time. The director has a knack for turning his personal passions into big screen spectaculars. Enamored with underwater exploration, Cameron merged his interest with the story of the ill-fated voyage of the Titanic. As we've mentioned before, productions that use a lot of water tend to hit more snags, and this one is no exception. Members of the stunt team were injured, and the shoot went over its schedule and its budget. The director was a force all on his own, and reportedly blew his top more than once. Apparently, someone even spiked the catering with PCP in protest.
Oh, hello.
Deadpool. Hollywood presents itself as all glitz and glam, but the behind-the-scenes challenges of getting a movie made can sometimes be, well, kind of boring. Take Deadpool, for example. Despite the character's insanely loyal fan base and box office potential, it took way longer than it should have for the Merc with a Mouth to get a proper movie. Why? Because the project kept changing hands. Ryan Reynolds was always on board to play the character, and even got to in X-Men Origins Wolverine. But everyone knew Wade Wilson deserved better, and in 2016, patience paid off, and fans got what they were waiting for. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any other movies that almost didn't get made? Tell us about them in the comments, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of our videos. Thanks for watching.